Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Social Saturday Chat Live. If you heard some snoring during the intro, I think that might have been Bailey snoring. I don't know if but there's a dog that we heard snoring. I'm going to assume it was Bailey, and we just woke him up there because Martha was on mute. But welcome everyone. It's great to see you here on a wonderful Saturday, and hope everyone is enjoying the new year. Oh, looking Mac, looking all dapper. Very nice. I like that. And hope everyone is having a great New Year so far. I know sometimes New Year's doesn't start the way we all want it to, but it is a new opportunity for new things. And today we're going to be talking about networking. This is a topic that Max selected, which I think is very relevant. Talking about networking with intent. Still, a wonderful favor of mute like as much as I love hearing you type and thank you. But we are going to be doing a show today about networking with intent and really focusing on quality networking versus quantity, which I think a lot of us here on LinkedIn can relate to because sometimes we get all focused on how many followers and connections we have. And it's not about the number. It's about who you're connecting with and are they the right connection. And, it doesn't mean that you can't make just friends on LinkedIn that have different interests. But make sure that maybe your values and things like that align because you don't want to associate yourself with somebody that maybe has different values or maybe you partner with them on certain projects that do align. But we're going to talk about what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and how to maintain it. So with that, I thought we could do some introductions and we will end with Max so he can kick off this wonderful topic, this dapper looking man from the UK that is, I call him the LinkedIn Sean Connery, but now I don't know. I mean, hopefully it could be Sean Connery, Dr. Jekyll. I don't know which way he's going here, but we'll find out. But let's do some introductions, and I will just start off real quickly. My name is Felipe Cofiño. Thank you for joining us today. Today is January 10th, 2026. And I am a HR executive, a career coach, founder of Cofiño Consulting, where I offer HR services, training, recruiting, and coaching. And I'm also a LinkedIn top voice, but I'm very passionate about being here on LinkedIn with people like these amazing people on the screen here to do LinkedIn events like this one here every Saturday. I do one with Melissa Houston, which I have tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern called Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. And I do one on Monday evenings with Sumana Jetty and Ashley Fluellen called Workplace Wellness Hour. So that's a little bit about me. And just to say thank you or welcome to everyone in the comments. We'll get to you in a minute, but I'm going to pass the wonderful mic over to Miss Martha. Martha, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Felipe. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. Teddy started off this morning with playing with my lip gloss, and he's got a couple socks on the floor, and he's just staring at me right now. He's going to come around and say hello. He knows when we go on camera. For friends that don't know me, a little bit about me, no, Teddy. I have a little on my profile. I put serving with purpose, and what does that mean? Is just serving people because that's what I feel in my heart. I love it. It just launched this week. Homeless advocacy. I'm doing a lot of volunteer work with the local organization. And I've gotten a couple partners now that I'm referring our folks to who are in-house. So in just this week, we got 5 referrals. So yeah, we're on a jam now. I will be looking for some volunteers. Any advocates who want to volunteer, please feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, I will pass it over to Zion. Ow.
I was expecting that. All right. Thank you so much, Martha. That was great. And happy Saturday, everyone. It's so good to be here. I'm very excited. And for me, it's always a privilege to share this state amazing individuals while we on screen today, and also our community who are joining us on the comment section. We appreciate you so much. All right. For those who don't know me, maybe you see me for the very first time on your screen. My name is Zion Inogero, as you can see already. You're Mr. Positive Energy. For me, I'm a man on a mission to spread positivity to every corner of the earth, one person at a time. And I'm a positivity coach and mentor, helping people to embrace intentional positivity in their everyday life. For me, if there's one thing I've learned about positivity, that it's beyond motivation. Motivation can start the journey, but at the end of the day, for you to remain consistent and sustainable in doing what you do, embracing positivity, it's non negotiable. So if there's anyone out there who's feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling tired, you're going through a challenge right now and don't know how to go about it, well, do want to reach out to me and let's go on a journey of positivity together. For me, I love hosting an event like this. I do my positivity event every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. 8 p.m. West Africa time. And on Mondays, I host Monday Motivation with my team and friends. So it's always good to be here, and I cannot wait to dive into the conversation today, even as we talk about intentional networking. So I'll pass the mic to Joel.
Thank you, Diane. I just had to. Literally got my laptop on my lap. My other hand is being commandeered by my dog, and I just I literally have to just push, trying to get my fingers into position. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joel, and I am a musician, artist. Slightly more awake this week as well, which makes a nice change. And I also ran my business helping change the way that the world sees neurodiversity. And I want to know what Max hat is because it's currently giving me Boy George feels. So I will pass it over to Mac.
Unmute.
But I'm sorry. I just got a visual with you with a little bit more makeup on. You might be able to and pull off the Boy George look. That was good. Oh, that was good. Sorry, Mac.
Oh, well, welcome everybody. I'll tell you all about the hat. That's my fun fact for today. But firstly, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Another fantastic conversation. Networking with intention and quality over quantity. And I'm really excited about this conversation because firstly, all these people you see on stage, they've come through networking. They've come through building relationships. They've gone through collaborations. And you just never know where a conversation will lead. That's, my motto. You'll see that on my profile. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mac Laupscher, and I own the domain, the LinkedInExpert.com, where effectively we help you become the go-to expert in your field on LinkedIn. And we only typically work with people that are already experts. So if you're one of those people that is well known within your community, you've got some incredible customer testimonials, people love you, but the rest of the world just don't know about you because you're one of those best kept secrets, reach out and let's have a chat. Today there are a couple of things that, firstly, I had a personal conversation with Jay earlier, and we were talking a little bit about networking, and he kind of dropped a few nuggets into my mind of things that we need to cover today. So we'll cover those as we go along. But my fun fact is one of the things that I do. I love networking. I love helping organizations and charities. And one of my charities that I help, similar to Martha's, but based here in the UK, is an organization called Help for the Homeless. And for some reason, people keep donating like all kinds of weird things, like this top hat. I mean, what is somebody on the streets that is homeless going to do with a top hat? Unless they're going to a function, I don't know. And all other kinds of interesting things that they donate. And today they were running what we call a pop-up shop, just so that they could get rid of some of the excess stock that they get donated. Yeah, they even get things like tuxedos and all kinds of. Today I saw like a ballroom dress that somebody donated. That's a few £100. What are they going to do that's on the streets when it's freezing and sub-zero here in London? So my fun fact, I walked in and one of the founders, Lloyd, just looked at me. He looked in the shop window and he went, that hat, put it on Mac. And anyway, this is what I came away with, and a few other things. But we went to go and support our charity out there. So let's get into the conversation, because I want to hear from all of the people on stage, as well as those of you that are watching, about what does networking with intention mean. And I've already seen loads of comments about this, but I want to kind of preface it with just something that a lot of people don't realize. There's a study that was done by an anthropologist called Robin Dunbar, where he talks about it. He's suggests that a cognitive limit for stable relationship building is around 150 relationships at any given time. And he breaks that down into three categories. One being the inner core, which is around 5 people that you effectively can, those are the closest people to you. The next layer is another 10 more, which includes like good friends receiving another 20% of your social time. And then all in all, 2/3 of your social time is spent with just 15 people. Now, for some people, you might be thinking 15 people, that's a lot. And then for other people that maybe network on a regular basis or here on LinkedIn, connected to thousands of people, may think, oh, no, I spend a lot more time. But when you look at that actual structure, the outer layer remaining people is around 150 people on your peripheral. Those are people that you touch base with maybe once a year, twice a year, and you consider them friends, but you kind of touch base every now and then. You don't jump on the phone every other day. So with that in mind, I wanted to start this conversation off with, now that you've got that as a kind of baseline, where do you think you are with regards to how many relationships you are effectively investing in and spending time on, whether it be here on LinkedIn, face-to-face or elsewhere? Drop that number into the comments, let us know. And then, Felipe, can I come back to you before I ask you to expand on this? But
can you catch what you want them to put in the comments really briefly so that people maybe get caught up? Just real quick, briefly, what you want them to put.
Just how many relationships you feel that you are reasonably managing right now. Okay. Just as a kind of guesstimate. But what I would like you to do is kind of set the stage with regards to where people can find us, following our company page so that they can go and drop comments there. They can suggest future topics, etc. Because you do that firstly so well. And then secondly, what are your thoughts on what I've just covered? And what comes to mind when it comes to networking with intention?
Well, first of all, thank you everyone who's joined. I just want to shout out to everyone who's been in the comments, Leslie and Hamza, and we have John Werner. We have actually a new follower that's joined, and I lost the name, but it's great to see Elizabeth and Christy and Kingo. Welcome. Liliana, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. Chris, great to see you as well. David Pushkin, our LinkedIn radio voice, is in the house. I think I already said Leslie Flowers, but if not, deserves saying again. And Sean Michael. So welcome everyone. Again, we are live. So if you want to repost this room to your network so they know it's going on live, and join the conversation so they can ask their questions and improve their networking skills. But real quick, if you're not following Social Saturday Chat, do me a favor. Go to our LinkedIn homepage and give us a follow. And after you follow it, do me one more favor. Hit that little bell in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you get notified of all the events we do here every Saturday, as well as events that others of us do on our platforms. And if you want to check out some of the past episodes we've done, where we've interviewed some amazing guests, we've had some great topics we've tackled, and we've had really amazing networking events, go to your favorite podcast and do a search for Social Saturday Chat, and you can see some of our past episodes there. So going back to the topic, Mac, how many people is it realistic to manage networking? I think that is going to vary depending on the person and the stage of that relationship. If you're trying to network with 500 people at the same time, it's like casting a wide net in the ocean where you have no idea where the fish might be, and you're just hoping and praying. So you got to be a little more strategic. So I think making sure that you have a core group that you have strong relationships with. One of the important things I think to remember with a relationship is, do you both understand the expectations of that relationship? Because sometimes people get a little bit, needy. Sometimes they get a little bit quiet, and you just want to make sure hey, Mac and I know we have a friendship and a working relationship, both. Not everyone I network with is going to be a friend and a business relationship. So I think that's an important thing to identify. But for me, I think how many you have is a number of core, strong networking contacts that can grow pretty big if they understand the expectations. How many you're going after, that's where I think, in my opinion, you need to be a little more selective and really fine tune your search so that you can really make an impact. Because if you're doing it with intent, it means that I want to connect with Mac Lauscher and people like him in his field. And I want to get to know more about what they do. That's networking with intent. Start with Mac and then go from there. Hey, Mac, now that we're connected, who would you recommend I connect with if I want to learn more about LinkedIn and how to be a LinkedIn coach? Or if I want to learn more about business coaching, or if I want to learn about how to start my own business, or if I want to learn about fish tanks, whatever it might be, ask people, hey, what's that recommendation of who I should network with? Now, I'm going to share Felipe's 5 because I do have a Felipe's 5. I'm going to post about this later. But here are my Felipe's 5 about networking that I want you all to think about. All right. The first one is learn from the differences. Don't just gravitate to people that do the exact same thing that you do, because are you really going to learn anything? It's great when you can share stuff and constantly share stuff. It makes you feel good that people value your knowledge, but you're going to become obsolete real quick if you don't continue to learn. But here's the thing. Seek people with different experiences and perspectives who challenge your thinking while sharing similar values and interests. Now, the values and interests, that can be real flexible, because you say Marvel and Star Wars, Jay and I are going to be all over that. But the values, if you're going to sit there and talk about something that I don't feel comfortable talking about, or if you're going to sit there and talk about something that I don't necessarily believe in, that's fine. You can talk about it. But if you expect me to jump on your bandwagon and support what you're doing and it goes against what I believe, I might feel uncomfortable. So that's about learning, learn from the different people, make sure they line up with what you want to do and how you feel comfortable. 2, this is important, engage. Don't just attend. Engage. All the people that are commenting right now, you're engaging. The people that come up on the stage, you're engaging. Showing up is important, but if you show up and don't say anything and don't engage, you're kind of invisible. So whether you're doing a virtual event or an in-person event, that's where you need to sit there and actually try to
Felipe, we can't actually hear you. Well, I can't anyway.
think his sound went off.
Anyone reading?
We can't hear you.
Yes, we cannot hear you,
I
Felipe.
can't hear Felipe.
He's in the flow.
Well, I think he cannot hear us as well.
Yeah. Let me send him a message.
Okay.
Hey, well, this is what happens when you do lives, man. You never know what's going to happen, and you can accidentally have your puppy just click on a button and your sound is gone. Okay, Felipe. he's really Felipe, we didn't hear
very
any of that
familiar.
We can't hear you. Welcome to LinkedIn Live.
Oh, Matt, you've got the hat.
No,
on.
it's down.
Do the Joker laugh.
Can't hear you. Show us some love in the audience. Tell Felipe it's okay. It's okay. We are all here waiting for his gems to come back to stage live and loud. Okay. Well, while we wait for Felipe to come back, I wanted to just cover a couple of things that just came to mind. You know, when we talk about building these relationships, and we've spoken about the different levels of relationships. Think about, a lot of the times we think about relationships as in the people we know, family, friends, blah, 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 all those things. But the reality is you're only actively working on only a small number of those relationships at any given time. So ask yourself, when you put that list of people together that you think are like your inner circle, then go and just qualify it. But like, when last did you speak to them? When last did you touch base? Do you actually know what's happening in their lives? It's interesting because I know people that are family members that don't even know what they do as a job. Like, they know the job title, but they don't know what they do on a day-to-day basis. They don't know who they help. They don't know much of anything other than the typical family stuff that they would talk about, but don't really know what that person's life is filled with on a day-to-day basis. Jay mentioned to me earlier today, he was talking about his relationship with a certain restaurant chain that he goes and pops into, and how he just knows everybody's name, and he's developed all these relationships over years. So I'd be interested to know, do you have like places that you show up and people just, they know you, they know who you are, not because you're always taking, but because you're always giving. When you arrive, you're a person of service. You're acknowledging people by their name. So little things like, if you work at a building and there's a security person, do you know that person's name? Do you actually take the time to get to know the people around you? Or are you one of those that there's a lot of people around you, but if anybody asked you who they were, what their names were, where does that go? So think about that when it comes to building relationships and taking things to the next level. Felipe, please tell us what you were saying.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right. So real quick, I'm posting this in the chat. It's not, you have to actually go to the event to see it. But I was sharing Felipe's 5. Did I even get to number 1? All right. Nope. So I'll do it real quick. Here are Felipe's 5 things about networking. 1, learn from different people. Don't just learn from people that have the similar experience as you. Really go out there and network with people that have different perspectives, different experiences. But make sure that your values aren't compromised. You don't want to support somebody that goes against your values. Number 2, engage, don't attend, just attend. People who are in the chat are engaging, you're talking, you're coming up here on stage, that's engaging. If you attend and don't chat and don't do anything, you're kind of invisible. So we don't know you're even there. So you got to start getting out of your comfort zone, and that also includes in-person events. Joel and Mac had a great event in New York where they went to an event and they separated in a networking event. Next thing Mac knows, Joel's over there chatting with all these different people and networking away with all these new strangers. That's the beautiful thing. If they stay together, Joel may not have met that group of people. So it's important to engage in person and virtually. Number 3, lead with value. And what I mean by that is don't go for right for the ask. Can you give me a job? Can you connect with your CEO? Can you do stop? Talk to them as a human being. Let them know what you do, what you offer, and let them share what they offer. And if the opportunity arises, then go there. But don't network with an ask right away. That is just the biggest kill for networking. 4, follow up with purpose. And what I mean by that is DM, follow up, invite them to, hey, I'm going to this other event. Do you want to come with me? Since we went to this last event. Or, hey, I'm doing an event on LinkedIn. Why don't you come join me? Invite them to virtual events. Invite them to in-person events if you connected and clicked, especially if it's relevant to what they're doing. And then stay on top of what they're doing on their network, which brings us to number 5 is make it mutual. Don't support what they're doing. That means support them on their LinkedIn, support them in their work, support them when they want a buddy or a friend to go with them to an event. That is support. Can you do it every time? No. So bottom line, your network is about how you know, support, and grow together. It's not just about you, because networking is a two-way relationship. So with that, the last thing I want to share real quickly was, Mac, you just said about, oh crap, what was that last thing you said right after Jay?
About getting to know people's names and those people around you?
Oh, yes. So with that, one thing I want to remind people is getting to know people. Like, I have a Starbucks here. I used to have a bad Starbucks addiction, so that was part of the problem, but let's put that to the side right now. But what I loved about it was when I walked in there and they said my name because it was on the cup, I looked at their name tag and I said, oh, hi, Joe. Hi, Jane. And as I went in there, I kept on saying the name. I went in there with my wife and kids one time, and 3 of the employees were like, Felipe, how are you? I'm like, good. How you going? Hey, how'd the interview go? Or how's your mom doing? One of the people's like, guess what? My aunt knows you. She used to be the preschool teacher for your son. I'm like, oh, how's that so cool? They were like, how do they know you? Like, oh, I come here too often. And they're like, for any of you that remember the show Cheers, it felt like Norm walking into the bar. It really did. But here's the thing. I built relationships with those people. When they started looking for a job outside of Starbucks, they go, can you give me some tips on my resume? I'm like, sure. But the funny thing is, and I'll end here, if I hadn't shared anything about myself, some people are very private. I found out, one of the first things I found out is they have a game of, let's guess what this customer does for a living. They thought I was a doctor, a lawyer, or a psychiatrist. And I said, okay, take the doctor out. No, absolutely not. Lawyer and psychiatrist. As an HR professional, I do a lot of legal stuff, and I'm definitely using psychiatry with employee relations. So I'm not a professional, but yeah, you're way off. But it was funny that they thought this grandiose profession for me. And that's the thing, is that people are going to fill in the blanks for you, good or bad, if you don't share about yourself a little bit and put yourself out there. So that's why I say, when you go out to that grocery store, when you go out to that coffee shop, when you go to get your hair cut, be friendly, say hello. These are human beings who are, they're doing a job, but you can get to know them and you might be surprised. So I'll leave it there, Mac. Back to you. Hopefully you heard all that. You're on mute again, Mac.
Max, unmute.
Anyway, I did that on purpose. We can hear you. Thank you for sharing. That was really worth hearing the repeats. And, it makes me think of a book that I was given when I was about 18 years old, and I refused to read it until I was about 19, which was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I took it quite personally, because when I first got the book and I read the title, I was like, what do you mean? I've got friends. What are you saying? And this was given to me by one of my best mates. So I thought he was literally just having a go, but it changed the way I think. And if you go and think about all the stuff that Felipe was talking about now, and we've mentioned so far, is that listening more than you speak is the is such an important part of advice, because I'll go into rooms, as an example, and I meet people and I walk away and they think I'm amazing, but you ask them anything about me and they wouldn't be able to tell you, because they spoke the whole time, but they think I'm the nice person. And I'm like, so, and it's the most important thing. If you can spend time investing and listening, you'll be shocked and surprised what comes out. So I can talk about these things forever. I want to hear about the people on stage. Zion, you've been nodding a lot. Martha's gone off camera. I was going to go to her in a second, but I'm going to come to you, Zion, and I would just want to kind of hear about some of those key relationships and your advice on building those, because, and I just want to quote something Zion said, I think a couple of years ago, and I don't know if he realized it, but when he was building his tribe, as it were, his people, and he went, it was annoying because I think he had like 500 or 1,000 followers when we first met, and then boom, he was like at 25,000. I was like, what's going on here? But one of the things that you said, Zion, was the fact that you weren't focused on just focusing on other influences. You knew the journey you had been on, and you recognized other people where they were at on their journey, and therefore called them out, engaged, supported them, rather than like a lot of people that become influencers kind of, well, I don't want to know you down there, you've only got 5 followers kind of thing. Anyway, over to you, Zion.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, for bringing that. Can you hear me? All right, thank you so much for bringing that into the conversation. And today happens to be, having a discussion about networking. And for me, networking has changed my life a whole lot, more than I can put in words. And like Mark said, if there's one strategy I use in building my network, it's, yes, we have so many big shots out there on LinkedIn everywhere in the world, and people are always gravitating towards them. To be honest with you, those big shots might not really have the time to spend with you, to have conversations with you, because they are busy with their lives. They have thousands of people who are trying to reach out to them. So one of the things I did was to reach out to persons who are not the big shots, but then who are willing to grow, who are willing to get better, who are on a journey to establish and grow relationship with people. And that really helped me a lot. Why? Because one thing I learned about networking is do not come with needs, come with value. A lot of people make this mistake. When they show up, they're showing up with needs. They are reaching out to you, and the next thing, boom, can you help me with this? I need this, I need that. Come on, don't do like that. It can be very funny. Now, it's not bad in itself, but such approach is not good in building a long-term relationship. If there's one thing for me personally that I prioritize when it comes to networking and building relationship, I look at sustainability and longevity. So it's not just for the sake of, oh, let me just talk to you for the sake of it. Let me just send you a message for the sake of it. No, I look at how can we build on this communication in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, in the next 20 years, as the case may be. Because I tell you something, in most networking, at the beginning of the conversation, you might not even see opportunities for collaboration or connection. You might not even see the need for maybe working together, as the case may be. But there are so many magic that can happen in simple conversation. When you communicate with people, when you talk to people, people tend to like and trust you. So when it comes to networking, having that intentional communication is key. And I love it when Matt spoke about listening more. Listening skill is one of the most important skills that we can have as leaders, as entrepreneurs, whatever it is that you do. Because we live in a world where people talk, and nobody is willing to listen. So if you can master the art of listening, paying attention to people, and then people get to share, I tell you, there is so much that you can actually learn from people, and people can learn from you just by listening. Why? Because people love to be in a place where they feel valued, where they feel seen, where they feel heard, and where they feel important. And the ability for you to listen to people gives them that feeling, that notion where they are valued, where they are seen, and where they are heard. And when people feel like that, they want to share more with you. they want to talk with you. For me, it has really helped me so much in my journey. And I love the fact they say quality over quantity. To be honest with you, all that glitters is not good. For the fact that people appear the way they appear doesn't mean your relationship will be there. It doesn't mean they have to be your friends. It doesn't mean they have to be, close to you. But there's one thing I've learned about networking is energy does not lie. Your energy does not lie. You cannot pretend the energy. No matter how you try to pretend it doesn't lie. See, for me, if there's one thing I look out for in people when it comes to networking and building relationship, I watch out for their energy. For me, I love people who are very positive. If you want to be my friend, if you want to be close to me, if I'm not sensing or seeing or feeling any iota of positivity in you, man, it's a no-go area. Because I don't want to be around people who will drain my energy, who will make me feel empty. Because as much as you are pouring into people, it's also important that you position yourself for people to also pour into you too. Because if there's something I've learned in my journey in life, it's only a well that has water that people come to draw from. When water is exhausted, nobody comes to the well anymore. So if you want to be a well that people draw from, make sure you also have people who can pour into you so that you can continue to give back to people. So when it comes to networking, as much as you love giving, you love impacting, you love influencing people, also make sure you have people in your life who are pouring into you, who are nurturing you, who you are learning from, who you are growing from, so that there can be continuity. So that you don't be at a point where you are burnt out in the name of networking, reaching out to people, influencing people. So for me, networking is a game changer. It's about who you know and who knows you. And I tell you, everything in this world revolves around people. If you want to buy, you're buying from people. If you want to sell, you're selling from people. Whatever it is you are doing is about people. And the ability for you to value people, make them a priority, it's key. And it's very important when it comes to personal and professional growth. For me, embrace networking. And I tell you, your life will not remain the same. Thank you so much. I yield my back to you, Mark.
Sure. So many tips in there, Zion. And just watching as an example for me, it gives me so much joy to see how Zion has not only grown but mastered the art, but also been so giving over the last 2-3 years, out of just that positivity. But you mentioned a few things that unfortunately people take for granted, and they don't, that because what we're talking today is about intentionality. It's about showing up, about knowing what are you bringing to the table. When you walk into a room, are you bringing that positive energy, or are you walking in there? And I always look at networking or relationships as going to the bank. Are you always going in with your hand out and just want to take, or what are you bringing to the table? Are you benefiting other people? Are you referring other people? Are you, for me, when somebody mentions something that tweaks in my head and I go, oh, I know somebody, I go and I just go on LinkedIn and I drop it in the comments and go, hey, you guys need to connect. Sometimes I don't even tell people why. I just say, just see where a conversation, because I know that their energy level is going to be on the same level. They're going to find something that's going to be of benefit. But at the same time, if you're the one that keeps showing up with all the energy and nobody in your network is helping you keep that energy high and alive, and you can't pour from an empty cup. So from a mental health perspective, you've also got to look at, am I the only one showing up, giving all the time? And if that's the situation, you may need to relook that and go, hey, I need to look at people that are not only I can support, but will also reciprocate and support me. So really important. Zion, that was amazing. That was such great information. Martha, you've come back on camera. I'm going to pass it to you. And then we've got our guest, Elizabeth, waiting very patiently in the background over there. I don't know where Jay's gone. Sorry, Jay. You're going to have to jump back on, my friend. But yeah. Martha, over to you.
Yeah, just listening to everybody here talk, I was just thinking about, the way I network. So I have a couple of ways I network because I work with the in-house community. So the in-house community has their own networking as well. It's pretty interesting. And I actually learn a lot from them too. Then I have my friends. Then I have my actual work network that I communicate with. And there's always answers. Like I always said, there's a problem, there's always a solution to the problem, right? And I'm just going to share an example real quick. There was a unsheltered family recently that I came in contact with. They didn't have a place to stay. We made a phone call, they got a bed that night. um, and it's just having those connections with those shelters. Your name speaks a lot for you before you even say anything. You just say your name and they're like, oh, we know you, let's help you. And that says a lot, and that's all part of networking, how you show up. You don't have to show up with slacks and a nice shirt. Sometimes you show up in sweats, but if you're moving with actions, people will see that. People will genuinely see that, and they'll like, hey, we gotta help. We gotta help her. So she's helping people out here on the streets. So for me, I have also done something in the past where I've put people together, like friends and my professional network, and it was a little awkward because not everyone felt comfortable. So I probably won't do that again, but it was a birthday bash that I had years ago, and it was very awkward. And so I'm like, okay, moving forward, I think I'll be more now, as you were speaking, Mac, like put people together with the same energy. So, you know, so thank you for sharing that.
Oh, Martha, I've got to jump in there because what you mentioned about the kind of the disconnect when you put people together, that's the part that I find fascinating. Is, a lot of people, and I see this happen in family members. Close families, big family gatherings, they get there and they chat about uncle and auntie and we did this, and they laugh about all these things, but it's all very kind of high level stuff. And then if you had to go to them and say, hey, so what does Martha actually do on a day-to-day basis? Oh, she helps unhoused people, and that's like high level. But what does that look like? Like, oh, I've no idea. I think she works in an office somewhere and she like answers calls, or because they fill in the gaps themselves because they don't know. And the reality is, when you really know people, when you really listen, that's where the magic really happens. And I've introduced family members to each other before because they've gone, hey, do you know somebody who does this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me just send you your cousin's number or your brother's number. And they're like, what? Is that what it does? So think about the conversations that you have. Life is fleeting. It is so important to just take a breath and actually be like a sponge. Find out what the other person does, who they are, what matters to them, because you'll be shocked and surprised how not only they can help you, because a lot of the time, I've met, and Martha will attest to this, I've met homeless people that you kind of sit there and they make your day when they have a conversation, and you sit there and you think, wow, their gratitude, they are so grateful for where they're at and what they have. And I'm bitching and moaning about something that really in context, doesn't even matter. And all of a sudden I kind of go, okay, there's hope. Things aren't as bad as they are. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking because otherwise.
Can I say one more thing too? Also, one last thing, I promise. So another what just came up as you were speaking, Mac, is like hand holding, right? Like you don't have to hold someone's hand, but sometimes, like just in the field that I'm in, people won't do it unless they're getting help. Like we'll make the phone call together, or if we're going to the networking event, encouraging your friend or your coworker, come with me to this event, because it makes such a difference. Sometimes some people may be going through something in the background that you don't know, and so just having someone to encourage you to do it, what a difference that makes.
Oh, that's an interesting one. So I'm just going to, sorry, go Felipe, and then I'll dive in.
All right, can you all hear? Okay, I changed my mic. All right.
Yes.
No, two things I wanted to make before we go to Elizabeth, because I know she's been waiting patiently, is if you're trying to network somebody that has a lot of connections, I just want to point this out real quick, because there's people out there that can, one, don't be intimidated by, there are people that put their pants on one leg like everybody else. But be patient with them. There's somebody that had 50,000 connections. Years after I sent them a connection request, they then connected me. Okay, I didn't get personally, but you understand that there's a 30,000 threshold. After 30,000 connections, you can't connect with anybody else. Now, people do the same thing I do. I make sure I keep at least 1,000 or more free connections to connect with people that I want to connect with. I haven't met everyone I wanted to connect with, but the other important thing I do, I disconnect people. I connect with people that are no longer active. And what I mean by that is if I know that for here in the US, there's these two banks that into one bank. That was 5 years ago. If I see anybody with the two names of the two old banks and job still currently working there and like 5 followers or connections and they're connecting with them because some of the connections came from recruitment and I tried to find people that were ranking. But the last point is this. It's almost absolutely imperative that you do have different groups of networks. You can't have one massive group of network. This doesn't work. And I think Martha talked about that. You know, I have my group of recruiters, a group of LinkedIn people that do LinkedIn things like this and here. I'm a group of HR professionals. I'm of industry specific product around doing time. Works wellness is another group. Coaching and careers is another. It's okay to have different people you network with because if I need a job, guess what? 4 or 5 of these groups. Chances are they might be able to help. And that's where that network spread. You don't want it to be one road. You want it to spread out like a spider. And hit different types of people, different areas. You need somebody, you need it in different places. So I just encourage people to make sure that when they network, you do have a chance to connect and be willing to have different groups. All right, back to you, Mac.
There we go. Sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there, Felipe. I don't know if it was just me. But
no,
you got it as well, Joel.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the important bit there, well, all of it is, but you know, the kind of parts that stood out were the being selective on those networks and cleaning up your network. Especially Felipe, I'm sure you have a lot of these where people have reached out and they go, oh, I'm growing my network on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect. And then, all of us go and look at people in your network. You can download your data and you can see how many people have actually had a conversation with, and then touch base with them. If you haven't, if there's been no point, there's other than some random person who just wants a vanity metric with another connection on their thing, and they've never actually looked at your profile, had a conversation, commented on anything, and vice versa, you haven't either, then disconnect. What's the point? You're just using up additional energy there. So really important. Elizabeth, please introduce yourself. Tell us, what are your thoughts on the subject? Over to you, and then we'll start wrapping up the room. Wow.
Well, I'm glad that I found you guys again this weekend. So you're just a wonderful group of people, and I'm grateful. And I do a lot. So I do like a construction business that builds modular homes. And then I do, I'm an author, and I love podcasting with friends. And so that's a plus. And I raise golden retrievers. So that's me. Anyways, are you like with the top hat? Do you feel like magicianist? Is it magic?
Well, I did look in before I actually purchased it if there was a rabbit, but couldn't find anything in there.
I'll send you one. It's very hard to find a white rabbit in the United States. I swear my daughter wanted one, couldn't find it. None. So anyways, but a big part of my life is volunteering. And I volunteer at DuPage Pads, which is, I think, the second biggest homeless intake center in Chicago. Chicago is a huge, huge city, just so everyone knows. So, but we are the place they come into, you know, get a little breakfast, take a shower, sit down, you know, and then get situated at wherever they can go if we have space at one of the, so we own a bunch of hotels that people stay at. And one of the biggest things that I have found, just to what you were saying, is that, okay, the best things to donate to homeless shelters are cereal, suitcases, and a bike. People don't need anything else. They don't want soup at a soup kitchen. They want cereal and milk to start their day off that feels like normal. They need a suitcase to carry their stuff around, and they need a bike to get somewhere so they can get a job. And so that's was really interesting. I'm fine for me just over the past couple of years. And so yeah, so I think for me, that is the most meaningful thing I do. And I've had like conversations with women. I'm like, yo, I'm like 1 minute away from you. Don't you even worry about talking about anything. I was like, one missed paycheck, I'm here. And so I always really try to just make everyone feel comfortable. And then to other points, I think that for me this year, I'm really going to dial in on like the good friends that I've made here. I still want to do the groups and stuff, but I've had a couple of people tell me, Joni, you talking to way too many people. Like it's like maybe it's filling up your like positive energy, but you are, there's hundreds of messages, and you can't know the many people. You have kids, you have dogs, you know. And so I think dialing it down to, for your close friends, I am like, you know, five people, and because it is overwhelming to talk to so many people. I don't feel like you can't email me though. I am like such like a mama bear, so it's hard for me to do that.
Amazing. Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing. I'm just conscious of time.
That's okay.
And I'm glad that you found us, and I'm glad that you're sharing this and the energy as well, because it's so important to make sure that you surround yourself with people that feed into a healthy, healthy life, healthy mindset. And the fact that you're supporting so many people and willing to be that, as you say, mama bear, is incredible.
I mean, and my daughter, just so you know, she started a letter to that, like a kind of a pen pal letter to elderly in our community, and then it's expanded as part of her work for, and she and I talked about it a lot. I was like, I worked with the elderly when I was in high school, and that became her senior project. So I just grabbed my daughter.
Put it this way, you never know where those little relationships and that little project reaches in the end, because it has a ripple effect. So I wish her well with that. Thank you very, very much for sharing.
Ripple in my heart.
Thank you so much. We have a few minutes left. Let's do a quick wrap up. Just final thoughts from each one of our co-hosts, as well as where can you go and connect with them? Because these are like incredible people that give so much. And do us a favor, if you've found value out of what they've said and what they've shared, please just go to their profile, see what they're up to, and see how you can support them. Just showing up at a live or tagging somebody that you think it might be relevant for could make all the difference, not only to them, but to that other person you recommend as well. So you never know where those things can lead. So I'm going to start off ladies first. Martha, I think Zion has had to drop off, and then Felipe, and then Joel, and then I'll wrap up. Why have I got a high-pitched voice today?
Because the hat.
It's definitely the hat. You have a magician's voice.
Well, you are boy Max. So there we go.
You need the wand.
It'll be so good if you had a frog or a hair under there. I don't know.
You are boy Max. Well, there we go.
Yeah. So just, quality over quantity, be very protective of your energy. And like, where you put your energy, and I know from experience, just be very careful. For some reason, I'm blanking out because I'm getting a headache, you guys. I've been looking at 2 different screens. I've been taking my glasses off, and I'm getting like a migraine now. So, yeah, and Teddy's relaxed, So I don't really have anything to say right now because my migraine is kind of kicking in. So I'm going to put myself on mute. Sorry, everybody. Thank you.
Martha, go do some self-care, put some goggles on, get away from the light, and just look after yourself, please. We need you.
Yeah, please. Because especially with migraines, you don't want to mess around with those. And I think it's important to, again, we got to take care of ourselves. Right, Copper? Copper wanted some attention, so he just climbed up on the chair and just wanted to get a hug. But for, as far as me, what my final things I'd say is, you want to make sure that you have a focused strategy as to who you're trying to network with. Separate your feelings. If it doesn't work out, it's not personal. It's business. So keep that in mind. Like Martha said, protect your energy. Don't burn yourself out doing it because you're not going to be effective and you're not going to be presenting your best self if you're burnt out. And when things go wrong, don't say why me. Say what now. What did I learn from this? What am I going to do differently? Don't have the pity party. Don't go down that rabbit hole. It's not a good rabbit hole. All right. And then lastly, lean into that support. Okay. Don't isolate. Don't avoid it. You put all this energy into building a network. Use it. I'll be honest. I haven't shared this with this team right now, but I'm actively looking for a job. Our nonprofit is shrinking and it's just not looking good. So this past few days, I've reached out to all the recruiters that I've talked to saying, hey, guess what? This is where I'm at right now. Can you start looking for me? I reached out to my past colleagues. I reached out to my HR colleagues. I reached out to my LinkedIn colleagues, except for this group here I haven't talked to yet. But the point, it just happened. Okay, so, and I have until the end of February, so there's a little bit of time. But the point is this. Don't fall into the why me. Fall into the what now. What now? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do about it? And start doing it. Because laying down and thinking about it to get you nowhere, worrying about it definitely doesn't get you anywhere. Taking action and feeling a little accomplished, that gets you somewhere. So that's why the network is so valuable. And sometimes that network is just there to listen. Because sometimes you just need someone to vent, listen, dump on, so you can get it off your chest. So that's where I'll end with that. I will say that I do have a show tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the wonderful Melissa Houston, where we're going to talk about, hey, Happy New Year. What happens if things didn't start off the way you wanted and chaos ensued? How do you handle it now? So if that resonates with you, come join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And we'll be doing that on my page. And then on the following Monday, a week from Monday, we will have the first episode in 2026 of the Workplace Wellness Hour with Sumana Jetty and Ashley Llewellyn. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you wouldn't mind. I appreciate that. And I did put an image of Felipe's 5 that I shared earlier in the comments. So feel free to go back there and grab it. And with that, I will see you all next Saturday for this wonderful show here that we do every Saturday. And thank you all that showed up and chatted to join us on stage. You're the ones that make this valuable. And so I truly appreciate you all. And I just thank you. But with that, over to you, Joel, wherever you are. I don't know what direction you are in.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. I think you're that way. Yeah, you're that way.
Thank you, Felipe. And I do the try me method, not the why me method, because I've been asking that question for years. I've got no satisfactory answers, so I've moved on. But what's coming up this week? Not anything immediately this week, but I will be restarting the Fighting for the Right to Party series, and I hope that Mac will be joining me on that. Lose the hat. And also this year, at some point, my band is finally going to be releasing some music when we can register the copyright, because guess what? We need to do that as well, and that costs money. So everything's coming out this year. So do give me a follow, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think it's somewhere on the profile, and if it's not, it will be in the comments later on, when I can actually troll through my phone without actually crashing it off. and that's it from me, and over to Mac to close it out.
Well, I can't keep up with Felipe and all these different hats there.
I'm going to go 2 seconds. Guys, I have been part of the LinkedIn community for 2.5 years, and it was so scary to get on stage initially and tell my story of just pretty bad stuff. And now I am okay. And so it does take a little bit of chutzpah to just get out there and make some new friends. And online friends are totally fine, as long as they're not pedophiles or something, And I used to come on like full makeup and hair. My hair hasn't been brushed since I woke up. I have no makeup on. Oh, well. And so I hope that I see more of my friends' faces, because I really appreciate you guys.
Amazing. And, Elizabeth, just on that note, unfortunately, I come from a cybersecurity background as well. See people's faces, as Elizabeth was saying now. If you make friends online, as quickly as you can, make sure that you don't go into these long, highfalutin conversations, building incredible relationships, only to find out that they're scammers, and there's so much more frightening things happening with AI. So just protect yourself. Make sure that you actually jump on that FaceTime and just go, are you real?
The Bitcoin scams, they are real. They'll text you. They're like, you want to make $5,000 a week? You just have to give us $25 in BTC. Seriously, they'll take your money. Don't do it.
They will indeed. So protect yourselves out there. So wrapping up, we are back next Saturday. For the second last Saturday of every month, we are looking for guests that we want to interview, bring on our show that can bring value to every single one of you out there that are watching. So if you've got somebody in mind that you think, what, the world needs to hear what this person has to say, they can add value to, whether it be mental health, whether it be finance, whether it be networking, LinkedIn, helping charities, whatever, if they're already making an impact there and we can help more people through their wisdom and what they've learned, please recommend those people in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. The last Saturday of every month is our networking. That's where you get an opportunity to come on here, or you can do it in the comments if you prefer and you're a bit shy. But you come on, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, a fun fact at the time, and then also who you're looking at connecting with at that point in time. Because guess what? This week, you might be, like Felipe has just mentioned, you're looking for introductions into new organizations. But in 6 weeks' time, you might be in that job. Now you're looking for people to put into that team. or you running your own business. Every single one of us are at a different point of our journey. So come and meet us where you're at, introduce yourself, and let our community support you and see how we can help you. For myself, I'm involved in so many different things. I love the charities that I work with and the amazing things they do. And this year I'm focusing on several different things. Joel and I will be out in the US in March. So make sure that if you are in the US, or you know people in the US that need to connect with us and are interested in, spreading the word around neurodiversity.
Like where in the US? US is
we're going to be in
big,
New
bro.
York, Long Island. Make it specific. I forget. It's not a tiny place, as
It really isn't.
I found out when I got there the last time, and I thought I'm just going to go for a little drive and go meet Felipe. 4.5 hours later, and I'm still driving.
It's a very large place. It takes me 13 hours to see my parents. So
wow. Okay. Yeah, it is a huge part of the world, but we will be in New York and Long Island mostly for Joel's initial talks, and then we'll be networking and loads of other things. So please connect with us now, because hey, we're on the 10th of January already, and it's only 8 weeks, and then it flies like that, and we're in the US. And then this year I'm also reeling back. I do a lot of one-to-one coaching. I do a lot of group stuff. But we are going to be helping some senior people that are coaches, people that are international speakers, and senior executives that just are not using LinkedIn properly or to its fullest extent. We are going to be putting some special programs together where we help them do things for them, but with their personal touch. So they're involved in that process the whole way. There's far too much rubbish out there where people are having people post stuff and it just totally ruins their reputations and doesn't bring any credibility. So we are only going to work with a very small group of people. But if that's, somebody that fits that bill, let them get in touch and we'll see where that conversation goes. With that, now that Felipe's got back to the cowboy hat, and I've got to get myself one of those when I come visit again, Felipe, because, and
this is the legit cowboy hat. So, and I got my cowboy boots too, so we can go horseback riding.
There we go. Although I don't know, is New York considered a cowboy area?
No, not at all. But there is horseback riding there. Now, but Virginia is, Virginia and Maryland are below the Mason-Dixon line technically. And if I drive an hour south from where I'm at right now at a gas station, all of a sudden they go from "How are you today?" to "How y'all doing today? How can we help you?" And they have a very deep Southern accent. So it changes like that.
I'm going to have to go to a place where I can have the accent, match the person who sells me the hat.
You need to go to a place with a Wawa. Just go to Wawa and you will feel delightful. I can't do that here in Chicago. So there I go.
Oh, amazing. Okay, folks, ringing off. We're calling it a day. Happy Saturday. Go and be with your loved ones or whoever you need to be with, but be intentional, be present, and enjoy. And we see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.